And we talked a little bit in the prep sessions about moving people from the back book over. You've tried certain things, Evan, some of which didn't quite work. Tell us a little bit about some spiffs, other incentives. What happened?
So I think I failed here about 3 times before I got it right. I finally got to a good place with it. People do what you pay them to do, but you have to be really careful about incentives. The first swing that I took with it, we set up a program where we were setting up spiffs for our account managers, largely comped on ARR, and we tiered out the top 500 customers on the back book, assigned a spiff value to each of them, and it was, say $2,000 for a tier 1 customer, $1,000 for a tier 2, and $500 for tier 3. And my head of sales said, we can't do this. If they go close all this revenue, they're going to double their OTE. I was like, Steve, great problem to have. Let's go see if we do that. And just completely whiffed. Turns out that the spiff wasn't important because people needed to get to 80% of quota. Then when they got to 80% of quota, it was better for them to get into their accelerators than into the spiff. So they just never focused on it. We ran this for 2 months with huge lucrative incentives. We closed 3 of the top 500 customers. So just completely fell on my face. What I learned from it was, again, people do what you pay them to do. We needed to have a team set up focused specifically on net payments revenue, on NPR. That was a bit of a cultural shift. Ultimately, the sales team didn't want to take that on. So they didn't want a sales motion outside of the sales org, but they also didn't want a sales team that got paid on NPR. So it came down to, this is one or the other. I get measured on how much of the back book that we migrate. Either you got to compensate the people on NPR, or I got to build out a sales function. We did the latter. And then once we were able to compensate folks on NPR, I pay 50% on adoption, closed won, and 50% on activation. So make sure that we're actually capturing the volume off the back book. And that works really, really well. But it took a while. I've given you that story in 2 minutes. It's kind of 2 or 3 years to actually work through that process, to actually get the right set of incentives and the right people in place to execute on that motion.